kind of interest group?
Many things. If you look at, I mean, the Indonesian, on the political side, maybe the debate about whether Indonesia has become the open, secular, democratic country, or you are becoming more majority of Muslim, that means that you have to adopt and put this Islamic law within the practice of the Indonesian. Within the economy, people will talk and debate about anti-foreign investment,
right,
whether more or nationalist, and then discussing about the role of state in this case, because we have more than 130 state-owned enterprises. That kind of debate is now also happen in many countries. I mean, the nationalistic, populist sentiment of policy vis-a-vis more like efficient, open, competitive.
How do you think Indonesia handled the issue of tolerance with respect to this majority Islamic population, the largest Islamic nation in the world?
Constitutionally has been debated when our founding father in this case, decided to have this, the opening or preamble of the Constitution, which is already agreed. This has become the national commitment, a social contract, if you can call it that way, that we are going to abide and respecting all belief and religion. So it's not really explicitly even mentioning about Islam. So in a way, the founding father at that time was also facing this debate, whether we should put Sharia or we are becoming just a secular and respecting all the belief and religions. I think the nuance as well as the same debate now for Indonesia, and especially because you become open, democratic, meaning that everybody think that they can express. But for Indonesia during this transition, one thing that we still need to build is the rule of law and respecting the law, because democracy without the rule of law is become anarchy in a way, or become the majority that can suppress to the minority. And that is the critical time. I think many of the view or the worry now is whether Indonesia is going to repeat the episode of debating that again. But if you follow closely, I think majority of the people feel that what we have built in the past or decided by our founding father was the right one.
And you agree with that?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah. And what's the threat that it will be changed?
Well, as many countries in the world, I think the interest group have all the ability to influence, whether this is on the policy level or up to the decision that will affect or benefiting them. You can see it in the political as well as in the economy interest group in this case. So with this democratic system, they are now trying to get those influence through the system, through the democratic system. They establish law, they establish political party, they have the program or ideology, they offer it to the people. And the Indonesian people, I think through the cycle of election that we have, twice at least, since the transition, we make a choice. And if you see the choice of the Indonesian people, most of them is the moderate secular party, nationalistic, national interest is more rather than sectarian or religious based.
This is the president's party?
Yeah, well, not only the president party. I think there are other 2 or 3 parties which is based on those national and secular rather than the religious or sectarian base. And I think that is actually become the mechanism that will guarantee this check and balance between interest groups.
And where is the corruption battle?
Well, corruption is always an enemy of development, both in developed and developing country. And for Indonesia,
because there's so much money to be made.
Oh yeah, of course. The perception in the past has been said that Indonesia, from the public finance, always 30% has been leaked or corrupted. In World Bank, we estimate that 20 to 40 billion of developing countries is actually the cost from this corruption. Where this corruption, I mean, it is about the public trust. It is about the effectiveness of the government. It is about the rule of law. So equity before law and the ability to enforce this law is very important. And for Indonesia, it's very, very difficult. And this is not unique for Indonesia. I can illustrate you. This is also actually happen in many countries. When we are dealing with a lot of interest group, then they can easily actually capturing the country from both policy level up to even on the manipulating the administrative and so on. And this is the area which we need to improve the governance, the bureaucracy, and that is the struggle that we, in this case, in many of developing countries, they are now facing.